Welcome to the Voice of Mount Pleasant podcast, featuring discussions and interviews about the people, places, and events that make Mount Pleasant such a special place.
Hello, this is Roger Gaither, your host for the Voice of Mount Pleasant podcast. Today, Bill Macchio, publisher of Mount Pleasant magazine, talks with Thomas and Sarah Runyon. Sarah is the face behind the mask on the cover of the most recent Mount Pleasant magazine edition. Thomas, her husband, shot the photo. Now, here's Bill, Sarah, and Thomas.
Here we are with the podcast Voice of Mount Pleasant. I'm honored to be here with Thomas and Sarah. And Thomas shot the front cover with Sarah on. Show the cover, Sarah. Well, there it is. Yeah, there you go. And then Sarah and Thomas are married. And I am honored to have both you guys here with us with Voice of Mount Pleasant. You know, whether it's Mount Pleasant magazine or whether it's a podcast, it's a word. We want to be the voice for people to hear. So thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thomas, in addition to shooting your wife on the current cover of Mount Pleasant magazine, you also shot lots of covers for us for the football edition, as you know, which included, I might add, the Clemson Carolina cheerleaders cover. And after you shot it, you discovered a very cool thing. Tell us about the ladies on the cover, because that was awesome.
The two girls on the front are Mount Pleasant people, so did not expect that, did not plan that at all. It just happened, so that was very...
How did we find that out?
Well, when I was there, when I photographed the Clemson girl, they told me after I photographed, well, actually, she's from Mount Pleasant. And so they told me that. And then we later found out that the girl, the Carolina, was also, which they didn't tell me that before, but I think one of the writers or the editors for the story ended up finding out through someone. So, yeah, it all turned out to be.
Now we've got to come up with something for this September coming up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
I mean, there's no telling what's going to happen with all this COVID stuff and how the schools are going to get back. So we'll have to come up with something for sure.
So do you happen to have one let's just call it Sarah's magazine, okay? Do you happen to have one of Sarah's magazines right there?
There we go. No, I get to hold this one. Yeah.
There you go. Sarah, now I want to tell everybody, hopefully they pick up the magazine, and if they can't digitally, they can always read it at readmpm.com. But I was really taken by what your mom was doing and how it all evolved. So I just wanted to focus on that a little bit. I know your mom was a nurse. So how old were you when your mom was a nurse?
Very little. So she was doing like night shifts. We would come home from school and she would be going to work, and then we'd like come in the morning and we would be waking up. It was just crazy. So when we were very little.
She has a personality too of a nurse. I remember when Anthony had his traumatic brain injury, I enjoyed talking to her because she really has a lot of sympathy. But and then of course she's in real estate, been in real estate a long time. But when she told me the story about how she was just trying to help people, she knew the nurses and the doctors and the medical professionals needed a mask. She just went out and got her mask, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They turned out so well. They look so good.
There you go.
Nice.
So, isn't that cool? So
matches your background.
there you go. Yeah, I kind of blended with it a little bit. Huh? It was really cool because she didn't start it for profit. She started for help, and that's what your mom is anyway. But then it's evolved in quite a little business, and we did an article in the COVID issue on it. We came up with this idea for the cover, so I wanted to talk about that a little bit. How many shots did you guys take before you actually were able to capture the one that's on the cover?
I believe
just a couple.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a few. I think that shot right there was probably the third shot that ended up making it. So
Now, I don't know if I mentioned this, but you guys have been married how long now? Just less than a year, right?
October, yeah.
Last October.
Wow. So it was kind of fun doing this together, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially during the quarantine times when we're stuck together and to be able to be creative together. That was fun. Yeah.
So Sarah, what has been the response to this? I just love the cover. Thank you so much, you guys. You did a great job with the cover. But what's been the response?
So people that know me really well, have reached out and said, congratulations on the cover. Like, that's so cool. It looks so good. And then at work, I've had people ask, are you on the cover of is that you? I'm like, yep, that's me. And everyone's just said it looks so good. It's just so clear. And it's actually evoked different emotions in different people, which is kind of cool.
Have you had people email you a copy or text you a copy when they see it somewhere, stuff like that? Has that happened?
Yeah, I've gotten like pictures sent to me from where people have seen it or received it. One guy from work wants me to sign it.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Really cool. So a little more serious, what do you think of the content itself?
It's honestly surreal looking through it and looking at it. It's like taking some time still, months into this pandemic, to process what we're really actually going through. That's right.
That's right. How's the store doing? Tell everybody where you work and where you hang out at.
So I manage Brown Fox Coffee, a little coffee shop in the Old Village. And we're kind of built for this because we just have that window to serve out of. So it's been good. It was scary, for any business when we had to shut down and be careful with everything going on. But when we opened back up, Mount Pleasant, locals, even now tourists are in town, been very supportive of supporting local and making sure we're okay.
One of the things I liked about the cover, I mean, it did bring a little joy to me. It's for you guys to do it. That was kind of cool for me to think along those lines. But you're very local. I cannot tell you how many people, when I've been distributing magazines or just talking to people, oh, yes, Sarah, matter of fact, the name escapes me, and I'm just Maloney. So you're good friends with his daughter, Danny Maloney. Is it not Dan? No, it's who's the gentleman that has the sign company?
Oh, James.
Yes. Yes, Donnie, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Donnie James.
Yeah. And was his daughter one of your bridesmaids at the wedding?
Yep.
Yeah. So, but that happens all the time. Oh yeah, I know her. Or they say, boy, she's got beautiful eyes. I mean, they say that a lot, But you're right. It does provoke a lot of different emotions, and it captures what we've gone through without being sad or frowning. But like I said, what I like about it is local. I mean, Mount Pleasant's a local magazine. It's for the locals. It tells our story. You were born here, right? In Mount Pleasant?
Technically in Columbia, but raised here we moved here.
South Carolina. So you're a Carolina girl. Tell us how you guys approach this. I know you said 3 shots because you and I talked about this before. It was fun coming up with the idea, and then you did your spin and then we talked about it and stuff. But did you have that vision? Was that your vision, Thomas, or did it evolve when you got her in the mask?
It was kind of like my vision. I kind of had a way I wanted to shoot it and how I wanted it to look. So I already kind of had it in my head. And obviously, I wanted to, play around and see if there was anything else that may come up with. But it ended up turning out almost exactly what I envisioned.
That's awesome.
Once we got the mask in hand, it was like, all right, game on. So it was
right. That came from my T-shirt that I love. That was pretty cool. And then to my right there on this over here. No, over here. No, right there.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's there you go. So that is our national cover. That should be going in Barnes and Nobles. I don't want them around here, but we made some plate changes and did that other cover. And Sarah, I really liked that other cover, and I know that was an inspiration by you a little bit, wasn't it? I wanted the pup in there. You guys know I wanted a dog in there. But tell us how that evolved. Indy involved in it.
We were actually trying to find something to do for his birthday during the pandemic, and we went and stayed at my uncle's house, and it was a blue house with a red door, and it just looked so all-American. We're like, let's just sit on this porch with this mask and have Indy sit next to me. It's just like so classic, I feel like.
I remember you and Thomas talking about it, and you talked, that red door kind of inspired you, didn't it?
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
I really liked it. And, it's amazing, the pets. I mean, people have really I think our pets helped us get through this, and when you reach down and you pet Indy, or Indy comes up and sits on your lap, or whatever the deal is, that interaction with our pets, our pups, really took away some of that anxiety we might have,
Yeah.
Do you happen to have that cover around with Indy from Isle of Palms?
Oh, yeah.
All right. I got to tell you guys, I got to tell that story. I mean, Thomas, when you came in and showed me that, I didn't have any idea about putting it on the cover. How old was Indy then?
She was
like a year.
Yeah, maybe almost a year old. So she was young. She was like a puppy.
That's an awesome cover. Isn't that an awesome cover?
Yeah, that was we were hanging out on the beach, and I was just playing around and just.
I knew I loved it. I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but I knew I loved that shot. You guys must have too. You must have.
Yeah,
that's an awesome
one
cover.
Of my favorites for sure.
And that's a good segue. So I wanted to tell you what we're doing. We've rented the Omar Temple for the 12th of September. It's a way that I want to celebrate our pets, because, as I said, I really feel they're one of the heroes, if you would, of what we've all gone through. People can get more information if they go to www.charlestonpetexpo.com. We're going to give the, if there was a club out there for like greyhounds or like a German short-haired pointers, any of those, that we're going to allow them to come in at a very, very steep discount, so they can hopefully get more people involved in adoption. We're going to have masks there, and we're going to have sanitizer there to be sensitive to what's going on. We're such a pet-friendly environment, and so it's a way to celebrate that. But so this is cool, you guys. And in the back, do you like the backdrop?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that cool?
It looks good.
Yeah.
I appreciate everything you've done for the magazine, Thomas. I really have. And Sarah, thank you so much for being on the cover.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Bill.
Thanks for spending your time with the Voice of Mount Pleasant podcast by Mount Pleasant Magazine. Your community, your podcast. Listen to this and more local podcasts at mountpleasantpodcasts.com.